My name is Katherine Andrews. I'm going to speak in English today. I'm a little under the weather. And I am one of the student program participants, and I did research during my time here. Grab this. So to start, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of my time in Uruguay and some of the fun things that I've gotten to do. So first, I got to go to some football games. This is my brother who got to come and visit. My parents also got to come and visit. So that was a great experience to share with them.
We are applauding because of Peñarol.
Okay. I got to meet people from all over the world, not just from Uruguay. These are some of my roommates and some of my friends from about 4 or 5 different countries. I got to have lots of asados put on by my amazing landlords, who are basically like family who have asados on our rooftop with all of the roommates all the time. I also got to travel to many different parts of Uruguay: Colonia, Cabo Polonio, Paysandú, Xung, Fraiventos, a little bit of everywhere. I also got to go to experience the cultural kind of elements of the city through some of the museums. Got to go to more football games, such as the national game. I got to experience different cultural events through music. This is my friend's band playing at the Sodre. I got to experience other cultural events that are important to my values, such as the Pride Parade here. I got to enjoy other, again, lots of cultural events, exciting things here. Montevideo Tango in the city with some of my roommates, again, from all different countries. Another way I got to really experience the Uruguayan culture was actually through going to the gym. So I got really involved in my gym here, and I go to gym classes every day. So I got to meet a lot of friends and kind of just be a normal person here, doing the normal things that Uruguayans would do, and hang out with some fun friends. Another important part of my time here has been through volunteering. I usually volunteer a lot in the United States, and something I want to continue doing here. So I got to be involved throughout my time here in 3 different kind of volunteering organizations. So first, I got to participate in a really amazing project in which Uruguayans worked with Brazilians that came to have a really amazing day in Punta da Manga with all different students. And the goal of the project was to show them the best day of the year, kind of give them a day of lots of fun, lots of hope. That was a lot of fun. I also worked with Proyecto Colibri, which is an organization where, again, we go to Punta da Manga every Saturday, and our goal is to show them different parts of the world through different international students coming, and just having a lot of fun with them and showing them a lot of love. I also worked with Seprodi for the first couple months here every Thursday, helping to take care of the babies there, lots of little adorable ones. Sometimes they're crying, while their mothers participate in programs to kind of help better their lives in different ways. But most importantly, I was here to do research. And my goal in doing research here was to better understand domestic violence. And I came in with the idea to look at social media and technology as a factor in domestic violence. And I found this to be really important, not just for Uruguay, but for all of the world, because we all are facing domestic violence as an issue that's really relevant everywhere. So I did a survey, and I surveyed 559 university students from all over Uruguay. From every department, we had representation. And I have a lot of results, and I could talk for 3 hours about all the different results, but I just want to pull out some important statistics that I found from here. So asking the students if they have ever experienced in their lifetime any physical violence in a relationship. And I asked these questions to men and women, to every student. 23% said they had experienced physical violence in a relationship. When talking about emotional and psychological violence, 47.5% of students said that they had experienced that in a relationship, and another 20% said they did not know whether they have experienced this type of violence. So for me, this really stood out, because clearly there's a problem with both physical violence, but also emotional and psychological violence that is not really being addressed. And because 20% of people said they didn't know whether they've experienced it, it's also an issue that is not being understood. And my last data that I pulled out here is another surprise for me. So when looking at it between men and women, there was a higher percentage of men that said they've experienced psychological or emotional abuse, and also a higher percentage of men that said they did not know whether they've experienced this type of abuse. So for me, this really kind of showed that men have to be a part of the discussion. They have to be included in education. They have to be included as both men and women have to be included as both potential victims and both as potential perpetrators of this type of abuse. And that it's not just an issue for some groups of women to fight for. It's a problem that every single person in Uruguay should be concerned about, whether it be teachers, parents, friends. It's really something that is an issue for everyone and that everyone needs to be educated about. And luckily, I still have another 5-6 weeks here, so kind of this part of the conversation is the most important. As I go forward, I'm hoping to expand the conversation and do a lot of training about what you can do if you think someone is in an abusive relationship, or how you can help them, what you can do to protect yourself online. Another question I asked, which is something that has obviously become important in the news, if you've been following some things that have been happening at the different universities, I just asked very generally about their experience with professors. And 10% of women and 5% of men have experienced abuse or harassment from a professor. So another kind of interesting impact of my project is that I was invited to go and speak to some young students who are working on a project about social media and acceptable kind of behavior with social media. And these students are about like 10 years old, I believe. So they invited me to come. You can't really see here, but they featured me in their science fair board, and they were the star of the show out in Chung because they spoke to an American. So it was really great to be able to talk to students and realize that one conversation can really make a difference in the lives of students. So I kind of just put here some of the general impacts for me. One, although I'm speaking English right now, my Spanish has gotten a lot better. And it really is really rare to have the opportunity to spend so much time doing research and just focus on research. There really isn't a lot of research about domestic violence in Uruguay. Even though it's very clearly a problem that everyone wants to address, there's not a lot of research and not a lot of information. So I hope this information in this study can really be useful. I also personally grew a lot. I made so many amazing friends from all over the world. I've been able to reflect on my culture a lot in the US and kind of share that with people from not just Uruguay, but my friends that are international students here as well. And it also really grew my passion for my research. I don't want to stop. I would stay here forever and just keep working on it. And something that I think is also really important is it gave me, because I'm going back to the United States and I'm working in foreign policy, I think it's really important to have people that understand Uruguay. Not that I'm an expert, but to have people working in the government in the US that can really speak to what Uruguay is actually about is something that's really important, probably something that there's not a ton of people that have had this amazing experience to live here for 9 months. And finally, one of the things I've always said during my time here is one conversation can change a person's entire perspective on you, your culture, your country, and I think this also applies when it comes to my research as well. So I try to talk to as many people as I can kind of about domestic violence as well as about my country, about how I see the world, and kind of have that sharing because a lot of people don't know kind of the diversity of the United States. They don't know me as a person. So getting to share that with people can make a really big difference. I'll just kind of close with one story. When I'm volunteering out in Mangaigo every Saturday, and the students think it is amazing that I'm American, but they have no idea where the United States is. They were confused that we spoke English, and getting to talk to them and say, this is what the United States is like, this is what's important to us, and they said, whoa, Americans are cool. And it's something very simple, but for them, that might be the only American they'll ever know. So I like to think that hopefully I can leave behind a positive mindset for them. So one little conversation can really make a difference, and hopefully I've done that. So that's it.